Hello, Gwenters, and welcome back for another episode of Gone Gwenting. I know that these videos are a little bit different. They haven't been getting as much traction, but I am pursuing the course. We're going to finish it out, and then we'll start with some new, fresh, hot spiciness next week and continue rethinking how we can make this channel more relevant. As always, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you have suggestions for future videos, leave those in the comments down below. And as always, your subscriptions really help to help me get a good sense of what you guys like, what you don't, and keep numbers and analytics tracked that way. So thank you guys all so much for your support. Really appreciate it. All right, so it's Firesworn Friday. I've already recorded this video, and I had it set to the wrong scene in my OBS, and so I have to re-record the whole thing. So I've got my speeches all down pat. Long story short, we're going to be running through a few syndicate decks. There's two main decks that are being pushed out, at least archetypes by TLG and Team Aretuza. We've adopted one of those, but I'm going to run you guys through what all of those options are and what I think about them. Number one, TLG has ranked the Congregate deck, as 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's really good. I don't love the Novigradian Justice play in here with the Bare Knuckle Brawler. I think it's clunky, too much of a chance to brick with that card, and it's really not an incredible play. You're only getting 5 points of play. It is a crime, so you do get some Intimidate power there, but from my perspective, not really worthwhile. I like the Aretuza deck more, but I love mine most. And you're just going to have to deal with that. So all of these links are going to be above in the description in order as I walk through these decks. So next, TLG has Hidden Cache deck. This uses Morale, Philippa, Heatwave, Poison Package with Fizztex, and Fizztech Traffickers. You could swap out even like Passiflora Peaches for some of the Mutated Hounds if you wanted, if you just wanted to kind of go like all in on poisons. Personally, I don't think it's the best choice in the world. I do think if you could get some more Veiled units, you could just use Fizztech Traffickers for coins. But I think that basically if you just sub out Kraut the Heatwave, you can put in Mutant Maker and get the same benefit there from the Devotion. So, you choose, you decide what you want to roll. I'm not as much of a fan of this Hidden Cache deck. It also takes a lot of practice to get good with it, to make sure you're getting out all the right cards. And I think it's just a little bit difficult for the average player, and it's not as easy to use. And even if you are really good at Gwent, the Congregation deck is performing better on ladder. Here is the Aretuza's Congregate deck. I like this one a little bit more. It doesn't carry that Novigradian Justice, and so you're able to include a little bit more in the gold package. Notably here, you're able to get Sacred Flame with Whoreson, Lieutenant Von Hurst, Ferrico, and Roderick. And I think Roderick is really underappreciated, both for the spawn, but more importantly, in my opinion, for the passive coin generation. Just a really solid engine to generate coins that you can use with Bloody Good Fun, or that you can use to get you some clutch plays with Von Hurst to prevent against Row Punish, or Helveed to get those Firesworn Zealots spawned. It also can help set up for Whoreson Senior to get you the coin carryover into the next round to set him up with leader, only needing 2 leader charges instead of all 3. So that's my thoughts. I like this one more. Personally, I think Lonely Champion is missing here, and I don't think you need 2 Clerics of the Flaming Rose with Von Hurst, since they're basically just a downgraded version of Von Hurst. But you choose. It is all within your power. Here, Tiger's Eye runs in the Hidden Cache for Team Leviathan Gaming, whereas Aretuza likes to use Crystal Skull. Kraut the Heatwave, Isleheart still included here, so not a lot of inventiveness being used, but it's all right. Anyway, I just wanted to include this so you guys could see it. I will note that it does include a Bomb Heaver. Personally, I don't think you need a Bomb Heaver with Passiflora, but if you're up in a mirror match, it could be helpful to get some value there. Next, this is Freddy Babe's Pirate Cove video. I went on a really long tirade in my first video. I won't bore you all with it again, but I don't think that this is a good leader ability. I don't think it's a good play. I don't think it finds great value. Compared to the other leader abilities, It has the lowest point output. The only reason it plays well is if you're playing against people who don't know what it is. So I'm showing it to you so that you know what it is, so that you don't have to lose to it. But the reason why I say that is, and we'll come in here and I'll explain this, Hidden Cache I find to be a better leader ability for getting out Flying Redanian. Only requires a 7 coin hoard. It also gives you 3 coins on 3 turns, giving 3 times 3 is 9 total coins. Do your maths. And those 9 total coins are much more valuable, in my opinion, than these 4 coins with a free Sea Jackal. I also think Sea Jackal is only a 4 provision cost card, really easy to include in a Hidden Cache deck anyway. His hoard requirement also drops down to 5, and so you're able to boost him by 3 one more time than you would with this leader ability. Then if you have an even coin count, you'd actually 2 more times, but we'll get to that later. But I just don't think it's nearly as good. I also think that if you are wanting to get extra cards played out, if that's something you're concerned about and you just feel like Hidden Cache doesn't give you that flexibility that you want, or you don't mind so much because you're not running pure horde cards, then I would suggest Congregate. I think Congregate is still very strong. There's a reason why it is the higher ranked out of the 2 decks. But these Firesworn Zealots coming out, giving you 1 coin each. That's 3 coins plus 6 points worth of cards, but it's 3 different cards. They also synergize better with like Horson Senior, who's a cut up. He's not even Firesworn, but also with Fallen Knights to give them boosts every time you play it. And he's kind of spreading the love around as opposed to centralizing it all in one character, who often becomes a target of a reset from Bloody Baron, a murder by Prince Onsace, or just a plain old reset from like a Spores and an organic deck. So for me, this leader ability just isn't good enough to want to carry. Instead, what I think you end up seeing here is like some weird chess plays in rounds 1 and 2, and if you get the right card draws, you can make it work for you. But in my opinion, it just doesn't give you enough oomph to want to use it on a regular basis. With that said, again, you should just know what the deck is. You should know that Freddy Babes likes to run Morios with Philippa, with Korathi Heatwave, because, you know, we don't see enough removal this season. Joke! Seriously, let's be creative and stop just doing perpetual removal. I'm tired of it. But this deck also runs Mutated Hounds and Fizztech and Fizztech Trafficker. So many freaking poisons. I'm tired of it. It also does run Adalbertus, so you can purify the unit offensively and then set up the poisons onto like veiled units like Harald on Crate, for example. I don't love the play. I don't love how it works. I think it's too clunky. I don't love the leader ability, and I'm tired of removals. Those are all my opinions. Take them for what it's worth and do with them as you will. Here are my decks. Free Tributes is a really good introduction to how to play tribute cards. This sucks against Lockdown because it does rely on the leader ability, which gives you 6 total coins and your tributes cost 1 less. But it does work really well with like these Renegade Mages. You get to play the single tribute cards for free anytime. Works really well with Fence as well to give you that little extra sweetness to that tribute cost. It only costs you 2 coins to boost themselves by the coin count, so you can boost them by 7 coins if you have 9 in the bank. It is a little bit of a complex deck, but it's going to walk you through some basic general Syndicate play that I think is worthwhile watching if you're new to Syndicate or even just an intermediate player at Syndicate. I think this will give you a good walkthrough for how you can use them best. It also runs Savola, Madame Louisa, which is just awesome tempo, and Tin Boy, which is great row removal and row punish. Tin Boy is underappreciated right now, in my opinion. Moving on, Fireswarm. This is my version of Fireswarm. This is my suggested Syndicate deck. I think you will find some really effective plays here. This runs Crystal Skull instead of Tiger's Eye. I don't think there's any reason to run money in this deck. There's only one Bloody Good Fun, and it's just kind of there. Honestly, mostly just because it's a crime card, and it synergizes really well with Horson. I don't love the Novigradian Justice play. I would much rather have Mutants Maker, Eternal Fodder, Disciple, and Lonely Champion. I think they're all three pretty good. Now, I made some comments about Clerics of the Flaming Rose. I think you should switch those up. I'd have them both in here because I was testing it out, but I just don't think they're necessary with Von Hurst. They literally do the same thing with that fee of transforming a Zealot into a Flaming Rose Footman. Only difference here is that Von Hurst spawns them from Horde, and Cleric can only spawn one when he's played with the tribute, but he does come with a profit of 2, so you can use him to gain some coins. But I was not in love with Smuggle at first. It's now one of my more favorite cards, being able to get a Firesworn unit onto the board that often isn't targeted because it's not doing anything. So it synergizes well with Congregations into a different row, and it sets up the coin count necessary to get some really great value out of Horson Sr., who is bonkers awesome for tempo. Using leader charges, you can get 14 points in 1 turn, period. No questions asked. And he is a crazy offensive engine setup, an Intimidate engine himself, with both of his cut up lackeys punching for 2 points every time you play a crime card each, doing 4 total damage if the opponent doesn't have shields or armor out. So they just are like a crazy tempo play in a down round, in like a bleed situation for round 2. Last but not least, consistent tempo. I like this deck a lot more than I thought I was going to like this deck. Dodric gives you a lot of consistency, but he also gives you the option to put back some of the bricks in Casino Bouncers and Sewer Raiders, so you're able to get some great thinning, but also great tempo using them along with Dodric Lumertz. Really love that play. Jacques, Bincy, Passiflora, and Philippa all add up to some awesome tempoing. Bincy being one of the best passive engines in the game, with coins just pouring in with Mutant Makers, Line of Credit, Tax Collectors, and we also are running our good old friend Passiflora is bringing in that 6 coins. I was running Imki at one point, but I took out Imki. I think maybe you could actually swap out Flying Redanian for Imki. It would give you a little bit more flexibility. There just aren't a ton of spenders in this deck as currently constituted, but I think it'll give you a good walkthrough on how Hidden Cash works, how you can use it to tempo, and then you can tweak Hidden Cash to work the way that you like. Personally, I find poisons to be clunky, annoying, and outdated. But if you'd rather go the poison route, there's a few other options in these other decks. But thank you guys so much for walking, getting out there, getting that healthy aerobic exercise in, but also for watching. And until next time, good luck on the path. Get out there and keep on gwenting.